Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey. Today, we are spreading freedom and dismantling communism a little bit with every race. Anyways, I get rudely pushed wide by Mussolini in his golden Lamborghini here, so I'll rejoin and give him a piece of my mind, let him know exactly how I felt about that. So, what are we going to do today? Today, we're going through the Forza GT hopper. I found this beautiful Cadillac that they just added to the game recently, and it has this even more beautiful American flag livery on it. So, as I said earlier, we're spreading freedom, and as we go into the bus stop for the first time, breaking in between the 300 and 400 board, and there goes Mr. Lamborghini. We can all wave goodbye to Mussolini. And that leaves the two Americans up front as we come out of the carousel onto the short straight and come through the chute. It's the Chevy versus the Cadillac, a GM battle for the ages. He's going to beat me to the chute. This is what freedom looks like. It's a beautiful thing. I'm going to try not to cry. We're moving to the outside, though. Teeing up a beautiful move around the outside. Well, I mean, it would have been beautiful if it worked out. It hasn't quite worked out, although I am still side by side coming out of the corner onto the straight. And here, this is where the top end of the Cadillac is coming in. On paper, this thing doesn't have a whole lot of acceleration, but with a little tuning, you can get it there, and out of the box, the handling is very good. Above average for the class, so we've got a pretty decent car here, and that's pretty much where this first race ended. Went the distance, got the win. That gave me some confidence that we're going to be able to get some podiums with this thing. Also, between you and me, I don't think this was the fastest lobby. I should be setting times a second and a half faster than second place, so I don't think that was too quick of a lobby. Maybe we can get a faster one in this next race at Silverstone. Right off of launch, I've already lost first place, so the acceleration might be decent with the tune, but the launch is definitely not there. The Dodge Viper on the left wanting to turn in a little earlier than I wanted to, and into the hairpin, he's just going to go right on through, as if I wasn't there. So thanks a lot, asshole. And then just continue to move right. We get glued together, and, well, in no way, shape, or form did I mean to spin him out. How dare you accuse me of something as heinous as that? He was probably an undercover commie anyways, so eventually on lap 2, we did catch up to the leader, putting some pressure on him. We'll try to take the lead, maybe down the straight out of Beckett's. Making a point to take as much curb as I possibly can. Through turn 12, you can actually run over those sausage curbs now. It won't totally destroy your car. Originally, if you'd gone over that before like update 4, I think, your car would have exploded from the inside out. It would have made a sound worse than nails on a chalkboard. Terrible, but we are up the inside. Use that slipstream down the straight. The Audi is still hanging around our left back bumper. The move is done, and the lead is ours. And kind of similar to that first race, that's just kind of how it ended. So either this Cadillac is actually very good, or the quality of these lobbies needs to get a little bit better. And it will get a lot better in the third race coming up. So here we go on a normal night race at the Nurburgring, except I'm surrounded by esports legends of the THR team. And when you're around a bunch of guys with 3 letters in front of their gamer tags, you know you're about to get shit on. But the good thing is I am the greatest mediocre driver of all time, so this should go very, very well. A little bit of smoke getting laid down through turn 1, but all in all, pretty decent turn 1 for Forza standards. No one's died. We do have a fight breaking out over there on the right side, and, well, this is kind of where shit just gets crazy. Massive clusterfuck of cars going through one corner. I mean, how many cars can you fit in one corner? That BMW tried to engage crab walk mode. It didn't work out for him. Surprisingly, he was the only one that ended up spinning out. Around the left-hander, we'll leave some space for THR Evo 8, who ends up running into the back of the Porsche, slowing him down, loses momentum. We're up the inside, trying to get some slipstream from the guys in front. We're going to get it. Starting to pull ahead of the Porsche. He'll stay close, but he is forced to take the long way around, which in hindsight would have been the better way to go because he makes an awesome move around the Ford GT while I get slowed up by this group of 3 guys that are just kind of sniffing each other's rear ends. And then it gets worse. I run into the back of the Corvette, get sandwiched between 3 guys, 1 guy up my tailpipe, And now my engine is inhaling large amounts of sand, which is apparently not a good thing for cars. Oh, and of course, my desperate attempt for the THR team to recognize my extremely small amount of skill has also failed epically. So I won't be joining the team today, I am sorry to announce, but maybe later on down the line I will. Yeah, I probably won't. But somehow, the caddy is keeping up with that V8 supercar down the straight and into the hairpin. Will gain the position as he drifts very wide. And then next up is the Ford GT into the right-hand carousel. Someone's off into the sand, doing what I'm doing earlier, just filling that engine up with a ton of rubble. Never a good idea. Approaching the Schumacher S. Can we get the job done through here? He's moving pretty slow. We're actually going to tap his rear end, trying to help him through because we've got Bacon, I think is how you pronounce it, right behind us. B-C-O-N. I have no idea. We'll go up the inside, though. Get a boost on the back end through. And there's 14th. The Audi TT is on our inside. We get Pinero, and we manage to hold him off. He is going to have the slipstream down the straight, but that gap is going up about half a second as we pass the dog leg, and then we'll skip to lap 3. Bacon about 6 seconds back into the chicane. I make my first mistake, carrying too much speed through the chicane. Now I'm eating up grass. I felt like I needed an even mixture of sand and grass. So now that we have that, maybe the car will start performing a little bit better. And as we cross lap 4, we'll speed up down into the hairpin, trying it around the outside. I've made a couple brave moves around the outside already in this episode. That one kind of worked out. We're still alongside him. I did leave a bit of space on the inside going back to the left, and Quint is rightfully going to claim that space. So a really good move from him, and we actually exchanged messages after the race because we had recognized each other from back on Forza 7, back when no one was playing the game. It was totally dead. It's always fun to see some names from the past pop up in these lobbies, but for now, we are mortal enemies. We're fighting it out for the coveted 12th place, and we've just about got it. Coming out of the corner, the caddy will put the power down, and we do, in fact, have 12th place in the bag. Through the Schumacher S for the 4th time. The guys up front moving a little slow. In fact, one guy almost completely lost the car and then went into pause, I guess, to save it. I don't know. Good play by him, if that was the case. And at the end of that lap, we'll head into the pits. That'll mark the halfway point. These medium tires starting to go. All were in the yellow, and we'll come back out in 16th place to start lap 5. We'll start it off right, too, by going completely deep. I have such a problem with, well, let's be honest, my driving is just a problem in general, but coming out of the pits and then judging that first turn, I have such a problem with doing that. But in the spirit of acting like a race car driver, I blame it on the fact that this car has no headlights at all. Believe it or not, it actually took me a little while in the race to realize that there were no headlights on this thing, so I can't really use it as an excuse, but it is a thing. So anytime I've messed up in this race, we'll just chalk it up to no headlights, and we'll leave it there. So here, I was having some trouble anticipating where the green machine was trying to go, because he either just doesn't see me because I've got no headlights, or just disregards the fact I'm there through the dog leg. Nearly kills Quint, and now Quint and I are locked into battle into the chicane, but I'm going to concede, give him the corner. It's a death sentence going through there, too wide. Either you're going to spin each other out, or the Forza gods are just hovering over that penalty button, waiting to give you a couple of seconds. I think that was a Dodge Viper going backwards. Nice driving. Actually, I bet he was probably trying to go back to the pits, but it's pretty commonplace in Forza to just see guys driving backwards, ghosted out for shits and giggles, so I wouldn't put it past him. Up the inside we go, and we're back up into 13th place. Yay! I bet the boys back in the pits are going absolutely wild for 13th. An incredible overtake. The penultimate lap, start of lap 7 here, we've come across another Cadillac. And this guy's actually got a pretty sick paint job on it. That gray with the blacked out tires and the red taillights. It actually looks pretty badass. Unfortunately, I've got to try to pass him. So I go for a move that kind of resembles a cutback, but I totally miss the apex by about 50 feet, still get the run. We're alongside the fellow Cadillac, and into the left-hander, we still get the move done. So I'm going to chalk that one up to a superior tune, maybe, because it definitely wasn't driver skill, that's for sure. And so we've got 12th place once again. And on the last lap, 8 of 8, we've got a group of 3 guys. So 9th place is on the board, but keeping in mind that Quint is only 3 seconds back. So if these guys slow me down, then that's bringing him straight back into the race. Fortunately, 2 of them are going to go wide right off the bat coming out of the arena section. And then it's just going to be a battle between me and the McLaren to finish off the race. Now we're coming up on the chicane for the final time. I'll be a little later on the brakes, but he's got the inside. I'll back out, give him the corner, take as much of the curb as I possibly can. He's over there on the outside. I need to turn in to make sure I don't hit him, lose a bunch of momentum, and now it's up to the final corner and down the straight to get the overtake done. I do have that half a second. He's got 0.4 of a second and has the run as well down the straight. So it wasn't to be, but it is still going to be a top 10, and that was a pretty wild race. We had the super messy first go around, and then it seemed like every lap after that we were battling with at least somebody. So that was a super fun race, even though it did get a little messy there. And we'll move on to Le Mans. So this time around, I'm going for the no stop on the hard tire, and I did tune the car up a little bit to have a higher top speed. And when I say I tuned the car up a little bit, I mean I literally just moved the arrow slider to the left. And now I've received a hearty slap on the rear end, which thankfully opened me up to cut the entire chicane, not get a penalty for it, and I haven't gained or lost any positions. So shout out to that guy who just hit me. Much appreciated, sir. I'll just file right back into my spot as if nothing happened and carry on, which is big because I want to minimize the amount of time that I'm losing to the leaders. They're most likely on mediums right now. They'll do 2 laps on those, pit, get another set of mediums, and then go the final 2 laps of the 4 we're doing at Le Mans. So the hope is that while they're in the pits, I will have gained enough time by not taking the time to pit to overtake them and hold them off by the end of the race, even though these hard tires are going to be screaming bloody murder by the end. That's the hope, at least. We'll see if it ends up working out. The first chicane on the Mulsanne straight worked out pretty well for me. Coming through the second chicane, missing the apex, but honestly, I've definitely done worse. I think anytime I don't come through there still in 6th gear and crush my car in a barrier is something to celebrate. So we'll go through there with a smile on my face nonetheless. Into the 90-degree right-hander at the end of the straight, side by side with the Porsche. That was some good driving there, but obviously Forza didn't think so because I still got a collision warning. Honestly, that's about as clean as Forza's going to get through there, let's be honest. Up to this point, I was pretty happy with the relationship between me and the hard tire, but this is where things start to get a little more rocky as we're coming through this technical section of the track where I'm not just praying to God that I haven't missed my braking point and again fly into a wall at 200 miles an hour. A couple of times here I've drifted wide off the track and I've gotten myself a 1/10 of a second worth of penalties. Fortunately, that one didn't wind up as a penalty, so the Forza gods were looking down on me graciously there. And here's me through the final chicane. This is so bad. I botched it so bad. It's disgusting to watch. I'm sorry I had to include it in the video, but I can't just show you all the good shit that happens. So here is lap 2 when everyone's starting to pit. I've gotten myself a few more penalties. I'm up to 1.3 seconds now, but I'm still in the running for the lead because everyone's dipped into the pits. I'm flying by, passing the leader now, giving him the digital middle finger as we drive by, and we'll keep an eye on the leaderboard there in the top left and see just how big this time gap gets up to. I don't know how much time I need. I'm assuming I'll probably need at least 15 seconds, and that's about where it's going to get to. We're going to hover right around that 15-second mark right there. Now it's a race against time. Second place is on those fresh medium tires. I'm on these old hard tires with each corner we take. Second place is going to be closing that gap even as we come out onto the straight that time gap is below 15 seconds already. I ended up putting in a pretty decent lap, and by the end of lap 3, the gap was down to just above 10 seconds, but my tires were in the yellow, which means at some point this lap, that's going to dip into the darker orange red category, and we're going to lose a lot of braking ability and turning ability. Grip is going to be hard to come by, is what I'm saying. So we need to enjoy it now, and I'm already experiencing some of that through the first chicane, drifting a little wide, getting another 0.6 on top of the 1.3 seconds that I already had. At the end of the Mulsanne straight, once again, making a mistake, forgetting that I'm on these super worn tires, going way too deep, dipping into the sand about halfway to the barrier on the other side. I mean, there's a fucking baseball field's worth of sand right there, so that's an accomplishment in itself. So the Lambo's going to take the lead, and my attention immediately shifts to the guy in third place. At the beginning of that straight, I was up by 18 seconds. At the end, it is at 12.5 seconds. I go deep again, like a noob, immediately put my head down in shame, only to look up and find I got lucky with no penalty there. The right-hander's up next, and yeah, you guessed it, I went deep. I guess I just have no braking ability and also no ability to adapt to the car's situation. So I think it's just a really bad combo of no tires and shitty driving. Keep it in mind, I do have 3 extra tenths worth of penalty time compared to third place. I still think coming through these final corners, I might be able to hold them off, but I just have no confidence in these tires, and I need to get a good run out of the final chicane to hold off this guy. It's not going to happen. The Ferrari gets through, but I've still got something to celebrate. Made it to the end, and we did get onto the podium, going up 5 places. So if you take out my big mistakes, I still don't think I would have gotten first place, but second place for sure. And to finish off the video, we'll head over to Catalonia for a short little clip of me failing to go into the pits. That's why you practice your pit entries, ladies and gentlemen. But it wasn't just me. It was also these 3 guys that completely missed the pit entry. So I felt a little better having not been the only one. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, do all the stuff the YouTubers tell you to do at the ends of videos. And I will see you in the next one. Alrighty. Bye, everybody.